Alrighty. So, I decided I didn't want to really do much today, so I'm going to do a quick vid on a tarot reading for myself. Just for funsies. With my demon deck here. Which is it's not my only deck, but it's definitely my favorite deck. I really like all the symbology that coincides with demonology, and especially with the way that this person interprets it. It's a very interesting book and tarot deck, which honestly, after I encountered it, made me want to make my own. So I imagine I will eventually. But I do this every once in a while. I try to get the deck off the shelf because, it's not good to leave it on the shelf for a long period of time. There's all these superstitions about, you leave it too long and then you lose your connection to it, or, the things that normally listen to you might not listen to you anymore, or maybe the cards won't like you anymore. There's all these things that people say. And, so I guess it's better to be safe than sorry in most cases. But this is a simple 3-card spread that I do. Very standard for me. The first card winds up being the current situation. The second card is the current dilemma. And then the third card, let's see here, is the advice. And normally when I do a session like this, I normally like to say, in preparation, that I make no demands. I ask. I do not make demands. It is by the good grace of whatever forces decide to visit my cards to give their advice, whether it's the randomness of the universe itself or something that decides to stop by and give me a little help. This deck specifically has a very, very boisterous personality. Likes to tell you what you don't want to hear, likes to make a joke out of your situation. So it's always really funny for me to do readings with this deck, especially for myself, because I usually know exactly what it's talking about. And as I've said in other videos, even though they're not around, because I forgot to save them, there's a certain card that usually shows up on my spreads. So we'll see if he shows up again. He's pretty much shown up in every spread I've done for myself, and I take that to mean that I have a real problem with this thing. So we'll see if he shows up on this one. It's always interesting to see who shows their face that day. So this is the current situation. Oh, Lamia. Lamia is a card I'm actually not familiar with. Well, I'm not familiar with quite a few of these cards, but Lamia specifically, I don't think I've ever seen in a spread, which is always impressive because I've read for a few people, and usually I see a card at least a few times, but this is one of those cards that I don't really know that well. Lamia was once a beautiful queen whose grief over the loss of her children turned her into a monster. Oh, alright. And so she became a demon somehow. That's the joke in this book. It's like, one day you're a god or, a celestial being, and then the next you're a Christian demon. You never know what's going to happen to you. Let's see. In the divination side of this, we've got beware of grief and loss, becoming so great that they begin to hurt others, bringing company to misery. Oh, well, that's... well, that's a story of my life. I have a sort of thing with misery. A very romantic relationship. I try not to share it with others, I guess it's telling me to get a handle on that. Well, it's a situation anyway, not necessarily the dilemma. So let's figure out what they think the dilemma is. Oh, interesting. This is the second time I've seen Asmodeus. And for anybody that's familiar with demonology, Asmodeus is the grand demon of lust. So we can take a wild guess what the advice is going to be here. I can just imagine this is going to be hilarious. well, again, we could have guessed this. Beware of lusting to excess. Yeah, no kidding. Allowing desires to dictate actions without thought to a broader picture. Yeah. Well, here's the problem. That's kind of how I create my art. It's, I try not to think about it, especially when I'm running role-playing games, but that's totally different. That's a different art form. That's where you're supposed to think on your feet. Other stuff, I guess you're supposed to have direction for. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is the supposed dilemma. Alright, thanks a lot. Super fun. Alright, well, that's cool. Situation. You got the possible dilemma. Things, again, that I know about myself, And, like I said, this deck has a sense of humor. Let's see what the advice is. The Dramalek. I've looked him up for something. I can't remember what. I think I was going to use him in a story, because he's like a really cool demon. Because he was another one. He was an ancient Sed god in another mythology, and then, again, becomes a demon of hell in Christianity. This one, of course, is beware of judging by appearances, especially those who dress to impress, but have no substance behind their style. Well, I know that. I do know that. Maybe I don't know it well enough. I do like to say that when people dress nicely, I do tend to be swayed. But it's not like that's the only thing I'm judging them by. If they're empty, they're empty, You know how it is. Some people, they can look amazing, and then they're just, you find out they're not that interesting of people, or intelligent, or just there, Some people are existing on their own planes of existence sometimes. I think almost all of us are living in our own delusions in some way. But some of us get a little carried away. I try really hard to keep my feet on the ground, but it's always a hard thing. That's why the tarot is fun. It's fun to see what possible energies, entities, or randomness of the universe itself has to say for what's going on in your life. And as always, I'm very, very thankful for any of these energies and entities that lent me their power today. And it was pretty good reading. It's pretty entertaining. It's always entertaining. But, yeah, pretty good one. If anyone ever wants a reading, just hit me up, You can ask a question. You could just have an idea, or if you have no idea at all and you just want a general reading, like I just did, I can do this. The 3-card spread is my favorite for most anything it is, because it's just great to have an evaluation of the situation, the dilemma, and then have the advice. So this is great. Even if it's for something you don't know or if it's something you do know, it doesn't matter. I think it's a great spread no matter what. But if you have other spreads that you like, you can totally suggest them to me. If you have any questions or anything, just pose them to me, and I'll do a reading for you. No worries. It's that simple. Thanks for watching, everyone. Catch you again sometime.